Channel welcomes you to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where today it's Busch Pole qualifying for the NASCAR Busch Series. We're getting ready to race in the Sam's Town 300 tomorrow, which you'll see on FX. Getting set to roll, and rookie Billy Parker will be the first driver to test the clocks. The 27-year-old from Denver, North Carolina, has 3 starts in the series: 2000 at Memphis, and he raced at Milwaukee and Indianapolis Raceway Park in 2001. He is the younger brother of Hank Parker Jr.
They call him Catfish affectionately, and talked to Billy just a little bit after the final practice for the Busch Series this morning, and the young man was quite intense, Mike. I mean, he basically said, man, I am nervous because I've got to make a qualifying run here. This is the first time he's had to make this type of a qualifying on this big of a racetrack driving for Rusty Wallace.
And the way he came off turn 4, maybe he should be a little nervous, or maybe he was just shaking the tires to get a little heat in him, but it certainly got his attention.
Definitely so, but out here in practice early this morning, he was second fastest, and during testing here at Las Vegas, he was the fastest car out here. So they've actually been about a 10th quicker than they tested here early in January, and he feels pretty confident that he's got a good race car here.
The Duraflame Dodge carrying 66, which is the number that Rusty Wallace used through most all of his career before he came to Winston Cup. Now this car, because it has no previous attempts and no owner's points from last year, has to make the field on time.
He's not going to be very happy with that first lap right now, Mike. He had practiced early this morning at about a 31.6, and that was a 32.1, so quite a bit slower. Coming to the green right there wasn't very pretty, as you said earlier, so let's see what he can do on a second lap.
He's been racing at Hickory the last 2 seasons. Hickory, North Carolina, the little 3/8 mile short track. And of the 8 races he won, in 7 of them he led every lap. Dips below the line to trip the trigger, and he's quicker, but only by about 0.2, 31.97.
One of the things right now that might have been affecting him, Mike, was the fact that just before the end of Nextel Cup practice, there was an engine failure down in 1 and 2, and I think that there may be a little bit of that residue left, or some speedy dry down there in 1 and 2. Could have affected him as far as getting up to speed, but he picked it up a little bit, but I'm not too sure he's going to be very happy with that. That's about 0.3 slower than he practiced at, so it'll be interesting to see what the veteran Barry Dotson and Billy Parker have to say about their run.
Well, we'll hope it's quick enough to get him in the show. Andy Ponstein, 27 years old, from Hudsonville, Michigan, the Yahoo Ford. I guess that's yahoo.com. Now, Kyle Busch was supposed to go, but I guess Kyle was a little late getting out to his car and getting buckled in for the start of qualifying. Initially, it was thought this session would start not exactly at 1:30, but maybe 5 or 6 minutes later. Maybe he was visiting with hometown friends here in Las
Easily
Vegas.
could be. You just see him running down there to jump in the number 5 car.
Andy Ponstein has 5 ARCA starts, all in last year. 3 top 10 finishes, 3 top 10 qualifying runs. 33.03 on his first lap is not encouraging.
Mike, again, the racetrack has probably changed quite a bit from this morning's practice when these guys last saw it. Nextel Cups have been out there practicing recently. Again, we talked about the engine failure down in 1 and 2, so all this could have been playing in the fact that a lot of these cars early on are showing a lot slower speed than they had earlier in the day.
And Ponstein's second lap is slower, so he also does not back up his practice time, which was in the 32.80s. So the snowmobile racing veteran right now stands second of 2. Let's join Jeannie Zalesko.
Well, you expect a bit of gambling when you come to Las Vegas, but the one car of Johnny Benson has taken it to an all-new level. The pole winner from Rockingham did not test here at Vegas. They are really relying on word of mouth. They've been talking to other teams and just seeing what is working for them. Crew Chief John Wolf is saying it is a complete and absolute shot in the dark. You might say it's kind of like a flip of a coin.
Heads or tails, Jeannie?
I think we're about to find out.
Okay.
What was it? Heads or tails? Tails. Who picked tails?
I think Larry Mack did today.
Maybe Kevin Harvick, who's on the track right now in the Reese's number 21. Now, Kevin just danced a bit through turns 1 and 2 there. And again, we're not sure if this is part of getting the tires up to temperature and getting up to speed, or if things may be just a little bit slick down there. Of course, NASCAR went out, had a look at the track after that engine went in Nextel Cup practice, and took whatever remedial measures they thought necessary to get the track ready for qualifying here.
Right now, he's quick enough to be on the pole for the moment, and Kevin is the first guy out so far that has actually ran quicker than what he practiced at. He was 12th fastest in this morning's first practice, and he picked up a couple tenths.
Started third here last year, but there were no time trials. The field was set by points. Harvick finished second in the Busch race here in Vegas.
That's a brand new car right now he's driving. And they did go down to Texas and did a little bit of testing with that car.
Second lap is a tenth slower. So Harvick right now the quickest of 3. And Kyle Busch is strapped in and ready to roll. The younger brother of Nextel Cup star Kurt. Kyle at age 18 already has 2 second place finishes in 7 starts last year. Finished 7th at Rockingham. 1 race ago. 2 ARCA wins last year also.
Very impressive young man, wouldn't you say, Mike, as far as his ability to jump in a race car and come to a racetrack and just seem like he can be up there in the top 5 no matter where we go. A lot like a Ryan Newman as far as being able to be quick right off the truck. Car right down on the white line, bobbles just a little bit right there as he gets up off the middle of turn 2. Out on the back straightaway. Be interested to see if it hurts him any, but he looked pretty good down in the middle of 1 and 2.
Finished 9th here in 2001. Now that was before NASCAR's edict that drivers under the age of 18 could not compete in their top 3 national touring series. So the Lowe's Telewindows Chevy completes its run tomorrow. The NASCAR Busch Series in Las Vegas, presented by YJ Stinger on FX. And Kyle Busch has gone to the top of the pylon, 31.75. That is, as Tom Carnegie would say, a new track record for the NASCAR Busch Series. Matt Kenseth's record falling that was set in 2001.
See if he can pick it up a little bit more as he cuts the corner right down there and just about gets on top of that little pylon.
700 slower.
700 slower. So maybe a pretty good indication of new tires. You've got to nail this first lap if you really want to be quick.
Well, let's go at the other end of the qualifying line where the cars come in. Matt Yoakum.
Billy Parker first in testing. He was second quick during practice today and first to roll off. How much pressure making your first qualifying attempt for Rusty Wallace?
It's a lot of pressure, but it's a big relief too because we've been working for 8 months to get out here, and we finally got here and hit the racetrack, and that was a big relief off my shoulders. But you know, we just didn't back it up from practice. We got way loose, about spun out in 1 and 2, and even just coming up to speed about spun out. So I knew right off the bat she was going to be pretty wicked, but I just hammered down, and that's all she had. So we're just looking out to get in the fence, to tell you the truth.
Thanks, Billy. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. Right now, Billy Parker is third behind Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. 20 of the 50 drivers attempting have never run a Busch Series race in Vegas. We'll see how they make out. Speed Channel coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series qualifying from Las Vegas is brought to you by Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Ends gray in 5 minutes, looks natural. And by Trim Spa X32, your dream body diet pill. Trim Spa, be envied. 4 drivers have had a shot at the track so far, and NASCAR had to come out to the start-finish line and adjust the reflector that takes the beam that's sent from the grandstand side of the track and reflected back so that when that beam is broken, the time can be recorded. One of the cars went so close to the yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack, it blew that reflector over. Here's Matt.
Mike, I think half the state of Nevada is on the Kyle Busch watch this weekend, making his Winston Cup debut for Hendrick Motorsports. First item on the agenda.
Nextel Cup.
Really?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you'll have that sometimes.
I know.
But first off, let's talk about being the favorite son here. Any kind of pressure on you, or is it almost easier having so many family friends around here?
Well, I don't really see much pressure that gets put on. You know, I just come out to the racetrack just like it was any other race. And, you know, the Daytona 500 is such a big deal, but, you know, when I get up and run that race, I'll just take it as another one. So, you know, it's just it's harder to get from one place to the other. I mean, now I feel what the Nextel Cup drivers are like because they're running everywhere getting mobbed. But, you know, when you come to Vegas, you got a lot of fans that want your autograph because you're the hometown boys. So we're just definitely out here having fun. You know, the Lowe's Pella Chevrolet was pretty decent in practice. And
better at one end or the other?
We're definitely better through 1 and 2. I still got to work down there in 3 and 4. But overall, a pretty good lap. I don't know if it'll hold up at all, but we'll just have to see.
He's on the pole at this moment. Jeannie?
And we're backing way out of the way because I got to keep Greg Biffle in one piece because you're a pretty busy guy this weekend. We talked so much about how notes can translate from the Cup car to the Busch car, but with the softer tires, with the change of the spoiler, how much is it really helping?
It's helping a lot. You know, it's got me some extra track time this morning here, and kind of got some ideas on shocks back and forth between the two cars a little bit. So it's helped me get a little bit extra practice and transfer a little bit of information. But you know, my Busch car is a little bit better than my Cup car right now, which I wish it was the other way around. But no, I want them both to be fast. But we're not bad. You know, we're probably top 5, 8 over here, and then top 15 in the Cup. So I'm not complaining.
All right, and we're not complaining either about the weather. Waiting to go out in the sunshine, guys. We're hearing the track temperature's gone up at least 10 degrees since the Cup cars were out there.
Thanks, Jeannie. Michael Waltrip in the Aaron Chevy. One of, I believe, the first car quickest, no, the second car to be quicker on his second lap, 31.95. That was a 10th quicker than lap 1 and moves him from 4th to 3rd.
And definitely picked up over his practice speeds earlier today in first round practice. And Mike, this car he happens to be driving this weekend is actually the same car he had here last year. After he had a big crash, he had to pull this car off. They raced it at Rockingham, but he liked it so much he decided to bring it back. But he had a pretty fast car, but he got together with Jamie McMurray last year and tore his car up. Hard impact, a lot of fire. Both drivers were able to escape without any injury. But he had to bring this particular car off the truck and led the race here a year ago, so they got a lot of confidence in him. See Jamie Murray jumping out of that car and getting away from it really quick.
So Michael is 3rd, and David Green becomes our next qualifier. His best start here, 7th. Of course, that was last year when there were no time trials. Green qualified his Pontiac 3rd last week and has 2 top 10 finishes coming to Las Vegas. He's 3rd in the Busch Series points.
We'll jump back here to Michael Waltrip just for a second. Was down in the garage area a little earlier. His longtime crew chief, Bobby Kennedy, actually came out here this weekend to kind of like lend a little bit of, you might say, assistance back to his group. Bobby's working for his brother Darrell now on the truck series, but he's out here trying to help Michael kind of get his program back on track.
It's David Green going to think a 32 flat. That he could stand to pick up a bit here.
Well, believe it or not, Mike, he did pick up from what he practiced earlier at. So, I mean, he's going to be pretty happy with that. I think anytime you can pick up from your practice session to your qualifying run, you've got to be pleasantly surprised.
Second lap for David Green. Right on top of the first. Just three 1,000ths apart. So David Green, 5th of 6 right now. Kyle Busch is quickest so far. And you see a lot of signs like this for the hometown heroes around Las Vegas. This is David Starr in the Enzyte Chevy, who holds the track record here in Craftsman Truck Series qualifying. His first lap 33.07. Got loose in turn 4 on his second lap and aborted that one. So he stands 7th of 7.
It's a good thing he aborted that one too, because that car was getting ready to take off and fly up there about turn 4 and smack the wall. David got out of it and brought it on in. He realized he wasn't going to run any faster, so it better to bring it home all in one piece. And again, I think we talked about a little earlier about the fact the track temperature's gone up about 10 degrees. and this can really kind of throw you a curve. You're right there on that cutting edge. The racetrack gets a little bit slicker. All of a sudden, you think you're going to have a race car that's going to stay under you. It gets away from you.
Matt?
And down on pit road, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Kennedy. First off, describe that lap, Michael. You picked up 3/10, but I know you wanted more.
Well, we had something wrong with the front end all during practice, and so we didn't have our I's dotted and our T's crossed when we got here. And after practice, I guess they figured it out. So when I got to turn 1, when I took a left, the front tires actually felt like they were hooked to the car, and the thing went left. So then I had to recover and try to figure out what to do in order to get a decent lap for the Aaron's Dream Machine, and we were able to do so.
Now, did you talk to the Franklin, Tennessee posse? Did you see if the Sherrills Ford posse could borrow Bobby Kennedy for a weekend?
Bobby is going to go to a few races with us here early in the year just to help Jerry out and make sure everything's going well with our Busch team. When Bobby left our team last year, he had it in really good shape, and we wanted to make sure we keep it that way. So Daryl, brother Daryl, was kind enough to let Bobby come to a few races and just oversee things, and that's the way we've done it so far this year, and I'm real happy with our car. And you know, last week I said that I had one bit of good news, and that I'd saved a bunch of money on my car insurance. Remember that?
You lost it here, probably?
No. What happened was, you said I stayed at a Holiday Express, but I stay at Best Western everywhere I go, and I eat at Domino's Pizza, and I shop at Aaron's, and I buy Napa parts. Do I have much longer? Because you look at all the stuff on me.
Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton is our new pole sitter.
Bobby Hamilton's our new pole sitter.
Well, I figured he was going to do that, and I wanted to get all the attention to me that I could get until he did it.
We're going to go from the tallest guy to the shortest very quickly.
Little Bobby, 31.57. And that is quickest by almost 2/10.
And what did you say a minute ago, my friend? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new track record.
I just like singing it.
It does.
I feel like I'm in the grandstands at Indy in May when you hear that.
Is that
Carnegie's voice comes
it
across?
It just echoes down through that canyon right there. It really does something to you. And he's got to be pretty happy about that. Actually picked up over what he practiced at earlier, and everybody in the garage here said that was a car to beat. And right now, they weren't kidding.
Matt Kenseth in the Pennzoil Ford. Started 23rd at Rockingham, led 259 laps from there. Finished 5th at Daytona.
Michael will jump back just for a second. Bobby Hamilton is driving his favorite car, 304 they call it. Car won 3 races last year, and according to what my sources say, he had 13 top 5s with that race car, so I think he likes it quite a bit.
First lap on Kenseth is 7th fastest, 32.08.
You know, Matt is sharing driving duties with the rest of his Roush teammates when it comes to this number 9 car this year. Tony Liberati's down there working with the team, and this car is actually a car that they brought over from Matt Kenseth's Busch team from last year. So Matt said he was pretty familiar with the car, but they were trying to get a few things worked out on it early in practice, and he was hoping they were going to be able to pick up a little bit of speed, but he felt like he was going to race really good.
Second lap about 1,500 slower, so Kenseth is 7th of 9. And here's Jeannie.
Well, during the Cup races, we like to ask boxers or briefs, and this is a Fruit of the Loom car of Robbie Gordon, but since I'm a lady, I'm not going to bug you on boxers or briefs, but I am going to ask you, you finished top 10 in morning practice. What do you tell your crew chief? What kind of changes do you make to make the car better?
Well, we made a couple changes. Bob Temple's my crew chief on the Fruit of the Loom car, and we work real close with my crew chief over on the Cup side, Chris Andrews. So the biggest thing we had a problem with in practice, probably had too much gear in the thing. Turned a lot of RPM, and we think that with the gear change that we've made, we can be about 3/10 better, which will be a 70. So got our fingers crossed. Hopefully we get the most out of her.
Yeah, more importantly, you want to turn off that Nextel cell phone, right? Because you keep getting phone calls for tickets. How many did you tell me you had to get for this race?
Well, first, I don't use a Nextel. I use a Singular because I drive a Singular.
Yeah, I guess that would be fair. Ouch, my bad. I'm thinking Busch.
It normally works better anyway, so a couple of my friends have the Nextel.
Let's move on.
And, you know, we got a lot of friends here. Obviously, when you get this close to California, I grew up racing here in the Nevada desert, and got a lot of friends here. Got all the people from Harris. We did a fan fest last night, and just have a lot of friends that come down and support us here, so it's a lot of fun.
I think we made every cell phone company upset with us, so we're going to go back to the booth, Robbie.
Johnny Sauter in the Kleenex Continental Pontiac, 6th fastest with a 31.98.
He got a pretty good pickup from what he practiced at earlier, Mike. Saw him and his crew chief Newt Moore talking after practice, and they made a few adjustments to the race car and picked themselves up about 3/10 right there, so it should put them in pretty good shape. 6th quickest right now. See what he can do on his 2nd lap.
Mirrors the 1st. So Sauter is 6th right now of 10. There are 50 cars here to qualify. 43 will start the Samstown 300 tomorrow. Matt Yoakum.
One of the shortest guys, still the fastest guy, Bobby Hamilton Jr., talking things over with his crew chief, Harold Holly. A great lap, but describe that lap.
The first lap was the pole lap. The second lap, I don't know what I turned, but I went through the flag and I didn't see the little thing popped up on the thing. I was like, man, not him. Don't let him beat me. So I went off in 3 and 4 and got off the gas, right back on it, had it crank, got up there in the black stuff, and it wouldn't turn no more. So I had to jerk back off of it, and it jerked me sideways, and I was like, well, we're going to knock the wall down or get the pole, and I seen that. I was like, whew, finally, get right out. We can breathe again. Now it's time to go racing. So, but don't know how it'll end up. Hopefully it'll be somewhere towards the top, but the car was great. Marines, Ford, Robert Yates, everybody, just thank you.
When Hamilton said, I didn't see the thing at the top of the thing, that's what he meant. He didn't see his number come up on the top of the scoring pylon going off into turn 1.
But Mike, what's he doing looking there going off in that corner? That's kind of
at 170 miles an hour.
That wouldn't make me very happy as a crew chief. Keep your eyes where you're going, buddy. Hit your marks.
Greg Biffle, winner of the Craftsman Truck Series race here in 1999. Last year, failed to qualify for the Cup race here. His only DNQ last season, and he's made it an all Ford front row so far. 2nd quickest, 31.68.
They were working very hard down there during practice sessions. Even his Nextel Cup crew chief, Doug Richter, were down there with the whole team trying to help them get this car here going. They didn't come out here and test, so they were all working very hard to get this car tuned up, and I think he's going to be one and done, Mike. But he missed the entrance of pit road, so he's got to go around anyway.
The Charter Communication Ford occupies the 2nd spot in our starting grid for the moment, alongside Bobby Hamilton Jr.
I think the crew chief may have been just a little bit too slow, letting him know that, hey, that was pretty good lap if you want to bring it on in.
Well, get you a little more TV time. Biffle finished 38th at Rockingham, lost an engine after starting 19th. Dave Blaney next to go in the Whelan Enterprises, number 31. Blaney has 1 truck race here in Vegas, finished 20th in 1999. Has 6 Busch Series poles in 71 starts and 2 second place finishes. Tickets are available at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where they advertise real racing real fast. The stopwatch shows it's NASCAR's fastest track, and there is the number 4 tickets for their upcoming weekend. We'll see you next in Atlanta. Good seats still available.
I'll tell you right now, that's one of those racetracks that is very much a high-speed, action-packed racetrack, almost like racing Bristol to me. Everything happens so quick. It's a lot of fun to watch them run the top to the bottom.
Randy's first lap, 32.53. That's 10th of 12. Las Vegas is, I believe, sold out for Sunday, including the new 22,000-seat Earnhardt Terrace, dedicated today to the memory of Dale Earnhardt. Brings the seating capacity here up to 129,000 plus infield. That's counting seats and suites. Blaney's second lap right on top of his first, just about 700ths difference, so he'll be 10th at the moment. Cheney.
Well, we always wonder when the drivers get their game face on. Kasey Kahne, I guess you're started about Cup practice. You were fastest out there in the field during Cup practice. You're ready to take the pole here, I guess.
Well, we were real good in, the Cup practice. It went well. Our Busch car not too bad either. We got a crew chief this weekend for the first time this year, and things are going pretty smooth. So we'll see. I think we ended up 8th in practice, but hopefully we'll get the Great Clips Dodge, top 5.
What kind of changes did you make before this qualifying run here?
Actually, we softened the springs a little bit, both front and rear, and see what that does.
Yeah, we'll see. It's getting a lot warmer, guys.
Green flag on Tim Fedowa, the Supercuts Chevy. Finished 16th at Daytona, 18th at Rockingham. 4 wins and 280 starts.
Got a chance to talk to Tim this morning. Was asking about his year and how things have been going, and he was pretty honest about the fact that they've got good race cars. As a matter of fact, they got a brand new Brian Robinson car here. They did test, but they weren't real happy with their test. Went back and made some adjustments to the race car, and he told me, he said, look, we've been consistent. We've been consistently blah. And he's not very happy with that kind of results, and he was talking that they've got to pick it up a little bit. I don't think that the owner there, as far as Armando Fitz or Terry Bradshaw, are going to put up with just having a mediocre race team, and after his first lap, he found himself 10th quickest.
Looks like everybody, Jeff, is just getting that little bit of wobble as they go into turn 3, where the car turns in, doesn't quite take a set, then it does, and some of the drivers are having to chase it up the hill just a bit.
Well, we haven't talked a whole lot about it, but we are running on what they call like a new generation Goodyear tire, and a lot of the guys said, hey, it's going to be a different animal here at Las Vegas for sure. So going in these corners, these speeds, are going to get you in trouble.
Tim Fedowa, 10th with a 32.15. Mike Harmon is 14th of 14 with a lap of 34.53. That's about 3 seconds off pole speed. Not sure if that'll be quick enough to make the field here today. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy with Jeff Hammond. We're seeing a lot of drivers having to toss and catch it in the corners, and it looks like the car's out of control, under control, but not the kind of old slip sliding away we used to see on the bias ply tires. This is different.
It really is, Mike, and one of the reasons for that happens to be the new, what I call second generation Goodyear tire, the sidewall
series qualifying. We apologize for the outage somewhere between here and headquarters. But while we were away, Kasey Kahne ran the fastest lap of anyone. Robbie Gordon, second quickest of the cars that have recently run, which moves Kahne up to the front row alongside Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Robbie Gordon to 3rd position.
And Mike, we need to point out also, you see Kasey Kahne has got identical speeds to Bobby Hamilton Jr., but the reason why, in 2003, the owner points the 25 car finished 5th, the 38 car finished 9th, and I believe Matt Yoakum has caught up with Kasey Kahne. Matt?
Identical speed, but you really feel like you left a lot out there.
Well, I don't know about a lot. Our Cup car went faster the second lap, so, the Busch car was the opposite. I needed to go faster the first lap, and I think I left a little bit. I think we should be first, but that's all right. I mean, we had it's a good run for our Great Clips car, and things are going good. We have, a new crew chief right now, and things are going good. It's nice to have somebody in charge.
You were surprised the car kind of came in with the track so early?
Yeah, the tires came in really quick. This morning we didn't run but one run in the Busch car, and it didn't come in quite as quick. The Cup car didn't come in as quick, and went back right here, and it came in really quick. So, that's part of it. But we'll learn from that, and hopefully go over in the Cup side and do as good or better, maybe.
Thanks, Case.
Other drivers that ran while we were away include Stacy Compton, who's Ford is 13th fastest, Kenny Wallace's Chevy 14th, Hermie Sadler's Chevrolet 16th, Mike Harmon's Chevrolet is 20th, and Damon Lusk is 19th, who is now on the track in the Outdoor Channel Chevrolet. We apologize for the outage. Apparently something our producer picked up out in Area 51 last night, prevented the satellite signal from getting up and down. Thanks, Barry.
I thought maybe the Air Force over there was trying this new radar jamming device, and it worked pretty well.
We'll see when Darrell gets up here for Nextel Cup qualifying, if that's in use or not.
He needs to be jammed every now and then, doesn't he, Mike?
He does his own bit of jamming. Does it pretty well. So Bobby Hamilton Jr. is quickest. Casey Kane, Robbie Gordon. That's a Ford, a Dodge, and a Chevrolet. And Jason Schuler comes onto the speedway. He has made the field for both Busch Series races so far. Started 39th in both in this unsponsored number 10 Chevrolet. Actually, it's the Operation Fire Safe Chevrolet. And Sports Central also on board for Schuler. Joe Nemechek next up as you look at the cars coming up to qualify. And coming up next here on Speed Nextel Cup qualifying for the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. A little change in our timing procedure. Last year, you'll note that just as the car crossed the line, we had the time for you up on the screen. This year, NASCAR has changed procedures somewhat as Jason Schuler runs a 33:28. They have a redundancy in their timing equipment, and they are taking the time after the car crosses the stripe to check and make sure that both of the measurements match before they distribute the result to scoring and to us and to you. So there's that little bit of lag time of about 2 to 3 seconds compared to what we had last year.
It's a little hard to get used to, but it's really good they're trying to make sure they're accurate with what these times, because they're very important. As you see, feels pretty tight, and make sure we get it right.
Yeah, I'd say tight. We have a tie for the pole to the 1,000th of a second, as Schuler's second lap is quicker and moves him up to 17th. Joe Nemechek will be next up. 1 year ago, there's a first to the finish, Joe, in his Cellular One Chevy.
And Mike, I talked to Joe earlier this morning, and he's pretty excited about being back out here in Las Vegas and having another opportunity to defend his win from a year ago. But the car he's driving right now is one that actually has already been to victory lane. Did that at Dover in 2003. But kind of a unique story was when Joe came out here to test, he brought his Nextel Cup with his Nextel Cup team. But in the Busch car, he drove a couple laps to make sure it was feeling pretty good. But he put David Ruderman in there to run the remainder of the test, and they had a very good test. It seemed like the car's responding pretty well today, and Joe was pretty optimistic that he could possibly put down a lap good enough to sit on the pole.
Here comes Nemechek to the stripe. He's the 22nd driver to take time out of 50. And he's 11th, 32:06. Now, last time by, we saw just that little hop going into turn 3 where the car breaks loose just a bit and the driver chases it up the hill. Not so this time.
No, he's right down on the bottom right there. Got a good looking line coming up off of turn 4. Let's see if he can improve on that first lap speed.
No, he's about a quarter second off. So Nemechek is presently 6th row Joe. Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Casey Kane are fastest here in Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Justin Ashburn in the 31W Insulation Chevy, making his. He made 14 starts last season. This is his first at Las Vegas, but he is 22nd of 23. Well down the list with a 33.96.
Don't believe, Mike, that's going to get you a good enough speed to get in. I don't really know how he kind of ranks as far as the provisional situation, but it's going to be kind of tough right now. But I believe Jeannie Zelasco's got some information for us down on pit road. Jeannie?
Yeah, the best information all day. Sit down. It feels really good. And now I know why Casey Atwood says this is his favorite track. Just soak it in the race.
Yeah, just come sit down. I got tired of standing up, so plus I found a cool spot right here, so I come sit down for a while.
I know you said you came here and you tested and you weren't necessarily really happy with the car. You weren't getting enough grip. That's kind of an interesting to think about as you're going out to qualify. Have you found the grip yet?
Yeah, we actually, our car was really tight all through the test. You know, both days of the test we couldn't get it to turn, and Jay and all the guys on the team, on the Navy team, went back, and the car's really turning well. We're actually just a little bit loose right now, so you know, the thing is we got to be a little bit conservative in qualifying. We got to make the show. We don't have a lot of points from last year, so I got to just have a nice smooth lap, make sure it gets in, and I think we'll have a good race on Saturday.
So that's what this is about, being conservative, just conserving the energy right now, right?
Well, I can't get too aggressive with the lap. I don't, you know, if something happened, I ended up wrecking or whatever. I hate to talk about this right before qualifying, but you know, you just got to be a little bit conservative, because you know you want to get in the race, and after the first 4 races, if we're down there in points, then we'll get aggressive, try to get poles.
All right, I got good news for you. You got a little bit longer here to just kick back against the car, guys.
Steve Grissom, the former series champ, 1993, in the Dreams Come True Chevrolet. Well, 22nd of 24 for Grissom, second lap slower by 3/10. And that may put Steve Grissom in provisional land. Roughly half the field has made their qualifying attempts. We'll be right back. Speed Channel's coverage of Busch Pole qualifying from Las Vegas is brought to you by Radio Shack. Race into your neighborhood Radio Shack now and enter the Call Your Driver sweepstakes. You could win a trip to the Samsung Radio Shack 500 or even a new car. Enter today at Radio Shack. Donnie Neuenberger out of Brandywine, Maryland. The BG Products Nevada Palace Ford, 18th. Decent run, 32.66.
From where he practiced at, Mike, that's quite a pickup. I mean, he was practicing it basically at a 34 flat, so he picked up almost about 2 seconds. So he should be pretty happy with that run.
Jeff Fuller running a Nemco number 88 Chevrolet, one of the Joe Nemechek cars, unsponsored, for the former NASCAR modified champion out of Auburn, Massachusetts. He has one Winston Cup start here, as well as 2 starts in the Busch Series. We found the cause of the power outage. I think Darrell Waltrip located it. A couple of years ago, we lost our good coffee pot here for the booth here in Las Vegas. Evidently, somebody found it. It dropped on a pile of wire and caused a big short. The rest, as you know, is history.
So Darrell did it?
No, I didn't say he did.
I thought that's what you said.
No, he bought the coffee pot originally.
Oh, okay.
Well, he expensed it. I don't know who bought it.
Okay.
Come on, Fuller, 32.50, 16th quickest. We'll get him in the show. He dropped out at Rockingham after 8 or 9 laps with a vibration 2 weeks ago.
Mike has always been a really good qualifier, and today he's showing it once again. He picked up about a half a second over what the car had practiced at earlier. So when he gets serious and comes time to qualify, this little man can drive a race car.
And he's always been a fun guy to be around. I mean, life of the party kind of guy. When he pulled into the garage there at Rockingham, and our reporters wandered over to say, well, what happened? I said, well, I got an appointment to get my hair cut. I don't want to miss that. And then he said, no, we had a big vibration, had to pull in. So Fuller is 16th at a 32.50. Tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. on Speed. Steve Burns live from our Speed Channel traveling stage truck with the Pit Bulls, a group of motorsports riders who do not lack for opinion. And since they don't work full-time for us, they are free to express it. Not that we're not, you see, but down there in the pit with those bulls.
No holds barred,
that's
for sure.
Right. Tell Steve Burns wear body armor.
Yep. As we'd say, like, cut them loose, right?
Randy LaJoie. Like Fuller, a graduate of the modified series up in the Northeast, the 96 and 97 Busch Series champ in a car that I don't believe has any provisionals. This number 82, the Jana King Chevy.
No, he's driving for Mondo Fitz and Terry Bradshaw, but a little unique story down there with the 82 car. Looked around and Randy King pulling up in there, and the hood came up, and out around the corner came Todd Bodine. Todd's helping work on this race car out here. So Todd didn't want to get too far away from this series or away from the racing fraternity per se, and he's down there trying to help his old buddy LaJoie.
Yeah, they're friends from way back, and I'll just bet that Todd has his helmet and his suit and his whole gear bag here, just in case somebody should need a driver.
Well, better hope it's not LaJoie unless he brought his seat with him, because there's a little bit of a size discrepancy between these two guys.
LaJoie bumps Fuller back to 17th with a run that is 16th quickest, 32.36 for the two-time champ. So 27 of 50 drivers have had their turn at the clock here in Las Vegas. Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Kasey Kahne remain the two quickest. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where Derek Cope in the Advil Liquid Gels Ford turns a lap of 32.64. That's good enough for 20th quickest. 28 drivers have taken time. That means everybody down through Stacy Compton, who is 14th right now, is guaranteed a spot in the show. Then they'll take 7 provisionals, and 7 cars will go home. Excuse me, 5 provisionals, 7 cars will go home.
Correct.
So everybody down through Randy LaJoie is in the show, and Kenny Wallace and Randy LaJoie. New rule this year, 5 provisionals instead of 7. I knew that 2 weeks ago. See what happens when we get a weekend off, Jeannie?
Took that weekend off. We got to retrain you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeannie.
Some more numbers for you. 325. If all goes well, Jason Keller will be making his 325th Busch start. That's a lot of qualifying, sir.
It's a lot of starts. That makes me feel older than I am, but I've had a great career in the Busch Series, and hopefully we can go for 325 more. But more importantly, we want to put this Miller High Life Ford up front. Got a great race car, but qualifying practice didn't go quite as good as we'd like. So Wes made some change. I think it'll be okay.
Now, you were sharing an interesting story with me prior to this. I was just telling you how sometimes it's just difficult to watch a driver change a sponsor or change a car. Can you share briefly with me the stories you were looking for the qualifying order?
I was looking down qualifying order and looking for my number 57 there, but I'm driving the 22 car this year for Miller High Life, and glad to have them on board. But it's going to take me a couple of races to get used to it, so all the fans out there don't feel bad.
Yeah, as you said, you were 10 years old when you first started to use 57. Guys?
Cool, thank you.
What makes it worse is there is a 57 in the race, Dan Boyd's car. New sheriff in town, Mike Bliss, former Truck Series champ, has put his Rockwell Automation Chevy to the pole with a lap of 31.53. And again, the track record continues to go down.
Exactly right, Mike. And I think Mike Bliss, along with Steve Addington, who's the crew chief on that car, are going to be pretty happy with that run. I know they had high expectations coming out here, and it looks like right now it's getting ready to pay off for them. Pretty stout run.
If it holds up, it would be the first career Busch Series pole for Mike Bliss. And still some good cars that he's going to have to beat. So as the crawl goes across, there you see Randy LaJoie 17th. That's the last car that's locked in right now. As Mike Wallace takes to the track in the Geico Ford. Mike will turn 45 on Wednesday, the middle of the 3 racing Wallace brothers. Rusty the oldest, Kenny the youngest. Finished 17th at Rockingham, right where he started.
Car looks like it has that little bit of a wobble right there as he tries to hunt that white line. Can't quite keep it where he wants it right. Off the bottom. Sweeps up off of turn 4 and back to the start-finish line to complete his first lap. 16th quickest, so that's a pretty good run right there from Mike Wallace.
32.23, 5th fastest Ford, 16th overall. He and younger brother Kenny qualified 3/100ths apart. Kenny's right below him on the grid.
That's what you call keeping it in family right there, keeping it close.
Second lap is 2/10 slower for Mike Wallace. Matt?
And Mike Bliss just climbed from his car. A high five from Steve Addington, your new crew chief. Describe that fast lap, Mike.
It was right there on the edge. The thing was just neutral. You know, I couldn't turn the wheel enough in the center of the corner to keep it down, but I just ran it, used the racetrack up. But I'm really proud of these guys. Rockwell Automation, Chevrolet, and Steve Addington. He's came along, and this is a car that he wanted to build, and we let him have it and look where it's sitting right now. I'm excited for these guys. If it doesn't hold up, I don't care. All I want to do is beat 25, and that's what we did.
Bliss is trying to become the season's third first-time pole winner. This man, Johnny Benson, pole winner at Rockingham. It was his first career Busch Series pole, and Martin Truex Jr., who won the pole at Daytona, a rookie.
And the thing about Johnny Benson last weekend, 7th pole. Car bobbles just a little bit right there as he gets ready to go through the middle of 1 and 2. But his crew chief, John Wolf, was fined $2,000 for an infraction in a post-qualifying deal that NASCAR goes through. His right front coil spring actually did not meet the rules and regulations that NASCAR sets forth, so they moved into the back of the field and now fined the crew chief.
Johnny Benson, 5th fastest, and the 2nd fastest Dodge to Casey Kane with a 31.67.
And Johnny Benson makes it the 7th driver today to break the track record.
And still Randy LaJoie, who now is 19th, is the last car locked into the field. Benson doing double duty. He and car owner James Finch will run a limited schedule of 12 or so races on the Nextel Cup side, in addition to the full Busch schedule. So Mike Bliss the fastest. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Casey Kane, Robbie Gordon, and Johnny Benson are the fast 5 in Las Vegas. Hueytown, Alabama's Jimmy Kitchens trying to make the field in his Jerry Springer Chevrolet. Don't ask me to explain that one, because I can't. First lap, though, the best at 33.97, and he will have to depend on a provisional to make this show. You have a line for this, Jeff?
Oh, no. I'm not
Anybody
going
else
there,
in the room? Anybody else? And a fight breaks out in the gallery. Yeah, okay.
Oh, man. I just thought you always had the answers, Mike.
Security. Call security.
That's okay. Here comes the Navy. We'll be saved.
Casey Atwood has 2 Cup starts here. Finished 18th in 2001. And he has top 20 finishes in both of the Busch Series races so far this year.
Mike, what was kind of funny about whenever Jeannie was talking to him earlier, talking about some of the changes they made from when they were here testing earlier, they went back and worked on some of the body work on this car and really tuned on a little bit. And Casey said, I cannot believe when I unloaded this race car that it went from being so tight that I couldn't turn it. Now it's a little bit loose early in practice, and he was pretty happy about that. The car was finally making adjustments in his first lap, 20th quickest.
So that will lock Atwood into the field, and Jimmy Kitchens' run locks Jeff Fuller into the field for Saturday. 32.42 for the Terry Bradshaw owned number 14 of Atwood. Second lap's better. 19th for Casey Atwood. Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Casey Kane, Chevy, Ford, Dodge at the top of the heap. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Mike Bliss is the fastest in town so far in Busch Series qualifying. While we were away, Bruce Bechtel from Corona, California, made his run, 33.66 seconds. In that Ford, here's Matt Yoakum.
And the guy who is 5th fastest, Johnny Benson. Now, you picked up even 2 more tenths than you thought you'd pick up.
Yeah, I thought I'd run like an 80. But hey, I'm not going to complain with that. A little high through 3 and 4, but I got in pretty hard to see what it was going to do, and it slid up the track, and it stayed with it and see what was going to happen. But yellow transportation Dodge is pretty good. John Wolf made a bunch of changes on it just before qualifying, so we're obviously hoping it was going to be better, and it was, so we're pretty happy with that.
You got kind of the retro suit working here, don't you?
Yeah, don't ask. I'm not sure. Is
this your Vegas edition?
Cool. It's my Vegas edition. That's right.
Benson is Well, he was 5th until just now. J.J. Yaley is now 5th fastest with a 31.67. 27-year-old from Phoenix, driving the Vigoro Home Depot Chevrolet.
Down there talking to this crew earlier, I'm telling you right now, they were really high on this young man. Some of the guys said, guess what he's like? I said, well, tell me what he's like. He said he has the driving ability and talent of Tony Stewart, but the patience of Bobby Labonte. So he has definitely got the best of both worlds right there. And right now he's going to show he likes the speed too. He's quick.
Well, he backs it up with a second lap that would have been good for 11th on the grid. So Yaley, 5th fastest and the fastest rookie. Jeannie?
And the 8 car of Martin Truex Jr. getting ready to go back out on the track. And it's one of the very first times he's actually been out here. About a month and a half ago, guys, when everyone came out for the test session. That was the first time he came out here. And they spent most of the time working on the race trim. So practice this morning maybe didn't go as well as he would have liked. But basically, he said they were just really trying to dial in the qualifying package. So they are not too worried. And quote Martin here, he said, I want to do all my winning on the track. So that's where you're going to find me for, well, at least the next 48 hours right here at the Las Vegas Speedway.
Thanks, Jeannie. And Jason Keller found the number 22 car, didn't hop into the 57. That's his new number this year with Miller High Life on the side of that Greg Pollock's Ford. Finished 12th at Rockingham after starting 5th and finished 9th at Daytona. He will pass Dale Jarrett for 3rd on the all-time Busch Series starts list. Now that includes races since this became the NASCAR Busch Series in what, 1982.
And after that first lap, Mike, he winds up being 19th quickest. Pretty solid effort right there.
Tommy Houston is the all-time leader in series starts, followed by Evan Sawyer. Second lap a little quicker, bumps Jason up to 16th.
Looks like those adjustments that Wes Ward, his crew chief, made helped the 22 car of Jason Keller and looked pretty good.
So Dave Blaney is now locked into the field. 24 drivers locked into the field of 43 as J.J. Yaley sets to hop out. Rookie driver Paul Wolf in the Ragu number 6 Dodge for Tommy Baldwin. Trying to make the show. 32.79 has a kind of borderline look to it.
Well, he does. He's not going to be very happy with that lap because he had been about half a second faster in practice, so not very good.
But Wolf trying to avoid a repeat of what happened to him 2 weeks ago at Rockingham in qualifying for the Busch Series rookie, when in turn 2, he killed that car.
That's a week later, and it still makes me want to draw up, Mike.
So Paul Wolf going to be close. He's got to beat 2 more cars to be sure of being in the field for Saturday. Ron Hornaday, the AC Delco Deuce out of Palmdale, California. 4 Craftsman truck races here and 1 Winston Cup race. As it was then. In 2004, started 2nd at Daytona, finished 7th. Also got a top 10 at Rockingham, so he's 5th in the standings coming in, and he is 10th on the board with a lap of 31.94.
Well, he's another one of these drivers who really likes this racetrack, Mike. He's had 7 consecutive top 10 finishes at Las Vegas, and that's an average of about a 6th place overall. So he really likes Las Vegas as far as racetracks are concerned. Car looks really good right there as he comes up off of turn 4, trying to pick up on that 10th place qualifying lap.
About a 10th slower for Hornaday on lap 2. Paul Wolf's run locked Hermie Sadler into the field, so now 26 drivers are locked in down through the 02 of Sadler. A full weekend of racing action continues next with Bud Pole qualifying for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series right here on Speed. Tomorrow, switch over to FX where the NASCAR Busch Series race is presented by YJ Stinger at 3:30 Eastern, followed by tape coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup final practice. On Sunday, The NASCAR Nextel Cup Series is on Fox at 2:30 Eastern Time. Right back here on Speed for Speed News NASCAR edition at 7 and Victory Lane at 8. We've got you covered all across the Fox networks. Martin Truex Jr., the pole sitter at Daytona. He's now finished second in 3 of his last 4 Busch Series races.
Right down that white line as he goes into turn 3 and sweeps up off of turn 4. Looks like he's got a pretty good lap going here, Mike.
Fourth fastest for Martin Truex. Second fastest of the Chevys with a 31.60. Car looks good. And they've really nailed down to the racetrack.
Very smooth. Big Bass Pro on the front hood right there. Very smooth run. Slows down a couple of tenths.
So the rookie could line up as high as 4th tomorrow. Matt?
That rookie 4th. This rookie, J.J. Yeley, currently 6th. How nice to finally put all those testing miles behind you and get to a racetrack and qualify for a Busch Series race.
It's great. It's tough going racing and watching, but trying to use it to my advantage, catching as much education as I can from all the Cup guys and Mike Bliss there. It's just awesome. First time out, a new sponsor, Vigoro and Home Depot. Monte Chevrolet was just awesome. Just I'm happier after qualifying practice. We were about 14th quickest. I knew we had a lot left in the race car, and Doug and the guys worked their butts off. They got the car where it was comfortable to drive. But
you came up 4 and said it's good.
Yeah, it was good the first lap, and I know everyone's been second slower lap, but just like Mike said, no one told me you can't go faster on the second lap. I tried it, but it didn't work. So. Well, right now we're 6th. Hopefully we can stay in top 10, and then we'll go have some fun in the race.
Gibbs guys 1st and 6th, Mike.
Robert Presley on track in the Clorox Ford. Clorox Albertsons this week, as that brand has taken to put some of their supermarket partners on the cars at the different venues we visit.
Robert is a veteran of all 3 different series. Last year ran the Craftsman Truck Series. Before that, he's also been in the now Nextel Cup Series. Veteran also of the Busch Series.
Ran this race in '98. Took a provisional and didn't last long, but comes in here with 10 wins in 205 series starts.
22nd fastest on his first lap. Let's see if we can pick it up some on his second. Robert's daddy, long-time veteran of Asheville Weaver Speedway. Crew chief Colin let me know he had a very good lap right there. Pretty happy with that.
32.24 will get him in the show.
It's about 2 tenths quicker than what he qualified at as we watch Martin Truex climb out of his car. He seems like he's pretty happy with that run.
Truex 4th quickest. Has every reason to be happy. Larry Gunselman out of Sierra Village, California, the Bone Suckin' Sauce Chevrolet. They brought samples to Rockingham. Did you try any? Working on it.
Did he say what I thought he said? It was good on eggs.
Gunselman has 1 Craftsman Truck Series start here. Finished here in the top 5 finished in the 96 and 97 NASCAR West and West Series in the top 5. Switching teams for 2004. And right now, to be sure of being in the field, he's got a better 32.64. Not quite, 33.17 for Larry Gunselman.
Just a little bit slower than what he practiced at, and he'd like to pick it up a little bit if he wants to make the field on time. Looks like he's one and done, Mike.
Matt?
And Kevin Bono Mannion, the crew chief for Martin Truex, discussing his run. You told Bono and the guys that you were really going to drive it in. How deep did you go?
Oh, I don't know, just...
Your hand's still shaking.
Yeah, I went in until I couldn't take it no more, and then I lifted, and it turned. Luckily, it turned real good. That was the best we've been all day by far, and just still a little bit too loose to go to have a shot at the pole. But Man, what a great job these guys do. I'll tell you, we weren't that good from the start of the day today, and just put all the right stuff in it and hold it down.
Pretty much sums it up right there. My hands are still shaking. That's about all you can ask for a driver to do, to drive it off in there better than 180 miles an hour and just hope that thing's going to stick. And that's what he said. It did. It turned. He got back in the gas and brought it home fourth.
Ashton Lewis, 12th in the 2003 Busch Series standings. Looking for his first win after 124 Busch Series starts. Finished top 15 at both Daytona and Rockingham. Time to beat right now to get in the show, 32:66. Donnie Neuenberger now locked in after Larry Gunselman's run.
Mike, we continue to talk about Ashton Lewis. Very solid race car driver, family-owned operation, still hunting that sponsor so they can continue on, but they keep basically soldiering away as far as each week. They keep showing up, putting up a good effort.
And a decent lap, 24th at 32:33. They have a website if you're interested in advertising there on the side of that car. Just do a Google search for Ashton Lewis, and that'll take you to it. And we'll be back with more Busch Pole qualifying. 8 cars to go. Welcome back to Busch Pole qualifying. Mike Bliss, Bobby Hamilton, Casey Kane. Not much change there at the top 10. Shane Sieg is our most recent qualifier. The rookie from Tucker, Georgia. And the EPH Tool Machine Dodge laid down a lap of 32:78. And that is 1 spot shy of being locked into the field right now. Donnie Neuenberger holds the last guaranteed spot at a 32:66. There's Sieg headed back to the garage. And David Stremme comes on track. He's got to beat 32:78 to be in the show.
Got a chance to talk to Stremme a little earlier. This is his first time out here at Las Vegas. He's never seen the racetrack except on television. Didn't come out and test, but Jamie McMurray actually came out and was testing in a team car.
Worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Worked out pretty good so far. I mean, they've got a pretty good setup underneath there, 13th quickest, but pretty excited about this. Actually, Randy Cox, which is also Jamie McMurray's crew chief, came with these guys. So basically, they've got 2 crew chiefs working on this car this weekend.
He is the 3rd fastest Dodge with a 31.95. 13th overall. Last year's Rookie of the Year. Second lap mirrors the first.
Almost identical right there. I guess that Ernie Elliott power underneath the hood kind of kept the laps close. He was pretty happy about the way the car was running for sure early this morning.
Mike Bliss has to hold on for 6 more cars to see if he is the 3rd first-time Busch pole sitter of 2004.
And I can tell you, stand there and see his crew chief, Steve Addington, stand there with him. That can be the longest 6 cars that ever run or make an attempt at making a qualifying run you can go through, because you're sitting there wanting to win this pole so bad. And all it takes is just 1/1000th of a second to ruin your day.
23-year-old Paul Menard ran 4 ARCA races last year, winner at Talladega. He's had a varied career at a young age. He's raced go-karts, Legends cars, the Southwest Tour, 4 off-road, the Craftsman Truck Series, and the 24 Hours of Daytona. About the only thing he hasn't been in is a Cup car or Formula One or Indy cars. But he's got plenty of time. He's only 23.
I'm going to say never. They tested his car up in Kentucky, and Andy Petrie, who was a car owner, was real happy with the results. But when they got here early this morning, the car was really bad loose, and Andy was really making a lot of wholesale changes. It looks like he's picked the car up a little bit. He's 30th after that first lap.
Yep, the Menards Energizer Chevy will be in the show with a 32.53. And still Donnie Neuenberger holds on to the last guaranteed spot, behind him come Shane Sieg, Paul Wolfe, Jason Schuler, Andy Ponstein, David Starr, along with Gunselman, Lusk, Grissom, Bechtel, Ashburn, Kitchens, and Harmon. Good pickup for Menard on his second lap.
Good pickup.
20 puts him 22nd. Eric McClure, the iCanLearn.com Education Systems Chevrolet. With a lap of 32.37, he is 29th, and he's in the show for the Samstown 300. Jason Leffler, the Haas Automation Chevy. Up next, he's run a truck race and a cup race here. Finished 32nd at Rockingham. Qualified 6th at Daytona. And he's got IRL experience here as well.
Very talented. Probably be one of the biggest bullets Mike Bliss has to dodge right now. He's 5th quickest. Good lap. Another one of those guys that breaks the track record. Mike actually came out here with 2 race cars, 2 brand new cars, and they tested so identical that they couldn't make their minds up which one to bring back, and they chose this particular one. And so far, looking pretty steamy.
Well, he's running here in IRL. Probably say he and Tony Stewart have driven the fastest laps here of anybody in the garage area. Second lap's a little slower, so Leffler 5th, and 5th of 10 drivers to break the track record today. Yeah, he was a pole sitter here in the Indy Racing League. So, or excuse me. So Mike Bliss has 3 cars to beat. One of those is Gus Wasson from Bloomdale, Ohio. The SEBA Vision Chevy on track after this happened in practice.
Mike, they had just bolted on a set of sticker tires to go out and make a qualifying run, and the car just never did hook up. And he went up into the wall. The guys had to unload a backup car. Actually hit the wall pretty hard with his primary car, and they did a really good job just getting their backup car out and prepared for qualifying today.
Jeff, looks like he might have a tire rub or something there getting into the corner.
Well, this is the first time this car has been on the racetrack, so that's a possibility of anything when you hadn't had a chance to test the car. It looked like maybe it's the right rear rubbing a little bit. Hopefully it won't affect him too much.
It's fast enough for the moment, 32.88. But that would put Wasson on the bubble with 2 cars yet to run. Stan Boyd and Randy Briggs, neither of which were very quick in practice.
Well, he's at least giving himself a chance, Mike. So pretty good effort by him as well as his crew right there to get this car ready. See what he does on his second lap. He can pick it up a little bit.
Now slower by 3/10, so that will lock Shane Sieg into the field. And with 2 drivers to go, the men on the hot seat are Paul Wolfe and Gus Wasson. This number 96 right now on the bubble, the Night and Day contact lens Pontiac, or Chevrolet rather. We're told the 57 of Stan Boyd will not make a qualifying attempt, and he has no provisionals, so this will be our final qualifier. The Premier Glass Chevrolet for Randy Briggs of Kansas City.
Well, for Gus Wasson, it's going to all come down to this one last car, Mike, and whether or not he can pick up enough to break his way into the top 38. And it's looking pretty good for Mike Bliss as the 85 car takes the green.
Briggs, 39 years old, next Wednesday. 3rd place in the Rookie of the Year competition in last year's Craftsman Truck Series, where he's competed in 25 races, 17 of those in 2003. We're going to have a little fun tomorrow night right next door at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Several of the Fox contingent, both in front of and behind the camera, are going to go over there and do a little truck racing.
I heard tell you're going to be over there driving. Is that true?
Yeah, I heard tell you said you're going to spank us all.
Well, after his first lap right now, Randy Briggs is 46. No, I didn't say that, Mike.
Okay, that's you can't believe what you read in the papers.
You cannot.
You must have been misquoted. Randy's got to pick it up. He's got a 32.70. He needs almost a second. He needs 9/10 to break into the top 38.
Keep it down, keep it down. Around he goes. Oh, hard on that outside wall. Mike, I think he was just thinking, I've got to pick it up. I've got to pick it up.
Yep.
He tried to get it all down there in turn 3, and the car got up a little bit high and got away from him and up in the outside wall.
Well, I agree, Jeff. He was in a bad spot. He knew if he lifted, he was going home.
If you look right there as the car goes into turn 1 on a little apron right there, he's being chased by one of the fire trucks. So we got the rescue equipment right now right in behind this car, waiting for it to come to rest in case they need to be there. It goes up in there. You see the car gets loose right there, and around it comes and up in the outside wall. It comes back around when he tries to catch it, hits that outside wall again very hard. The right front tire.
You saw the dust fly. He was so high up on the racetrack anyway that just a couple of inches higher and you're up into the gray, up into the marbles, and the car snaps right around.
Carrying a lot of speed right there in that part of the racetrack too. So when you get back in the throttle, trying to go faster, is what happens.
Yeah, once that right rear got up into the loose stuff, he had no chance to save it.
The car looks like it's come to rest over just off of turn number 2. Rescue workers are there.
And he's okay.
Yep, checking on the driver.
Bad news,
moving around.
Bad news for Briggs is good news for Gus Wasson, who holds on to that bubble spot of 38th fastest. So Matt Yoakum is with the 3rd driver this year in 3 races to be a first-time Busch pole sitter.
For the first time in his career, Mike Bliss scores his first NASCAR Busch Series pole. I don't know who's more excited about this, your mom Rose over behind us. She's been working the cell phone, or you.
Yeah, you would think I won the race or something, but this is the first pole for me in Busch, and I think that's great. I'm just happy for Steve Addington, all the Rockwell Automation racing guys over there. Chevrolet, and you know, Mark Conquest, the motors ran really good, and Mark doesn't get enough recognition, but that's great. This is Steve's first car that he got to build body up, and I think it shows that Steve's going to help a lot for this team.
And you've got to be really excited about your chances to score that win tomorrow.
I am. You know, we unrolled off the trailer. It's a brand new race car for us, so we didn't have no testing or anything, and it's driving pretty good in race trim, so we're going to get a little bit more freed up, and we'll see what happens. You know, my teammate J.J. Yaley qualified real good, so we're going to do real well. We've got a lot of notes we can go off of.
Scored his first career Busch pole on Friday, looking for the win on Saturday. Mike?
The front row for the Sam's Town 300, Mike Bliss and Bobby Hamilton Jr. with his best career start here in Las Vegas. You'll see it all on FX, 3:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. A lot of racing across the Fox networks for you this weekend. Coming up next, Bud Pole qualifying for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series right here on Speed Channel. So don't change a thing. Well, a few surprises and a bunch of rookies up near the front, including hometown hero Kyle Busch, the 10th of 10 drivers to break the track record today in Busch Bowl qualifying. For Jeannie Zelasco, Matt Yoakum, and Jeff Hammond, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Mike Bliss, our Busch Pole winner.